Transnet is the preeminent freight logistics infrastructure and services provider in South Africa and neighboring countries as well. The key role is to make sure that the transport or freight logistics infrastructure is competent, so that South Africa can compete with other countries around the world, and also to ensure that as Transnet grows, as the South African economy grows, that those benefits begin to trickle over into neighboring countries as well, and also to drive the development of the freight transport infrastructure on the African continent as a key enabler for the import and export of goods into and out of the continent as well. I know historically the focus has tended to be, have a freight logistics infrastructure that facilitates export of raw minerals from the continent, which is rich in mineral products. But I think as the economy grows and as we try and invigorate a sort of manufacturing culture in the continent as well, I think import activity also becomes quite important, and export of manufactured and beneficiated goods from the continent becomes quite important, and I think Transnet has a critical role to play in that space. At Transnet, we have quite an aggressive infrastructure rollout program over the next couple of years to really catch up in terms of that infrastructure backlog, making sure that the infrastructure competence of Transnet within South Africa and beyond is at levels that rival other developed economies around the world. The unique feature about Transnet as a group is that the rail operation and the port operations are all within the same group. So what we've done, particularly over the recent years, is to really try and refine the integration between the port and the rail, because really the supply chain is about moving the goods from pit to port, if you're talking about your mineral products, or from the manufacturing or production centers out of our ports to parts of the world that those commodities or those goods are destined for. So from a planning point of view, we've sought to ensure that integration between rail and port is happening seamlessly and is optimized as far as we possibly can. The deployment of operating systems as well now is not just port specific, but it's port and rail specific, so that there's line of sight by both our rail and port customers in terms of being able to track and trace where their goods are, whether they're on the rail side of the business or on the port side of the business, and really making sure that we leverage to best advantage, and best advantage being to customer advantage, the rail and port integration, which we have as a natural feature of Transnet. And this is also, I think, a feature that we would like to see exported to other parts of the African continent, where they're still at their infancy in terms of developing their rail networks and infrastructure and their port businesses as well. Because this, we believe, is a key feature and a defining feature in terms of bolstering the competitiveness of the supply chain integration between port and rail.